our guest of honor, Madam Mpofu.
Can I start by giving all due respect to the chief of this place and for having given the Anglican Church this land that has been the ground where much seed has been sown and there's great fruit. I also like to give great honor to the head of the school and his team for the great work that they continue to do. Thank you so much once again to the Anglican Church for being visionary and for having set up this school. Thank you to the parents, to the teachers, and everybody that has made this day great. May we consider all protocol observed. When you are asked to come and speak to young girls, you've got many thoughts that come to you. But what struck me is a saying from my girls. They always say to me, "Mommy, be nice to us. We are the ones that are going to choose the old people's home that you'll go to." So as I look at you, I look at the great people that I'm going to meet, the Lord willing, in the next 30 or 40 years. Some of you will be chief commissioners. Some of you will be police in the roadblock. Do remember my hairstyle. I'll keep it so that you don't give me too many tickets. Some of you will be nurses and doctors that will be asking, "What's wrong with your hip? Have you been exercising enough?" So when I look at you, I realize that my future is going to be in your hands. And they always say, on your way up, be nice to the people that you meet, because on your way down, you'll meet them. So as I address you, please recognize, young ladies, that I hold you in high esteem, because indeed you are my today, but you'll also continue to be our future. I've been reminded that today is the International Day of the Girl Child, and therefore we thank the SDC, we thank the board for having selected this particular day to make it the day that we do this kind of celebration. Thank you very much. I would like to speak a little bit about the theme that you've given today. The theme that says, towards attaining former glory, rebranding, and creating a complete girl child. Going back to the dictionary, glory means praise. It's looking at the quality of being admired for achievement. Bonda continues to be admired. Rebranding means coming up with a better design, a product to be associated with the school. Bonda is known for best qualities in education, sports, arts, and culture, and refined girls of good character. We hope we're not embarrassing you, and that we continue to uphold that as a brand. And also, there's the whole aspect of creating a complete girl. Creating a complete girl refers to the quality of the product that is finished. One that has no blemish, one that can be admired. I'm glad that as I stand on this podium today, we can surely continue to attest that being a guest of honor and at a speech-giving day like this is a marvelous experience, because I know that Bonda has produced great people. Great people, some of whom have names that are in the Hall of Fame. Great people that have done marvelous names. We know that they are senior government officials, diplomats, medics, lawyers, politicians, teachers, who are coming from this school. People like Beatrice Mtetwa, the ambassador, Mrs. Maboreke, one of the first female architects, Mrs. Chiri, and the Auditor General of Zimbabwe, Dr. Eugene Manyora, Honorable Namesake Sithembile Nyoni, Nompumelele Mpofu, Dr. Vunzawabaya Chimini, Mrs. Charidza. I mean, we could spend the whole day saying who's who in this country and who came from Bonda. And therefore, we're most privileged to be able to continue to celebrate that. Allow me to get personal as well as I speak to you, because in 1980, history was made for this nation, but I think also history was made for me. A girl born in Plumtree, lives in Gweru, finishes her O-levels, and my Bamamkuru decides you're going to go to Bonda. It's my first trip across the country. I come to Mtare, a lovely city that had a school where diversity was embraced. Kandereak was a very familiar, topic, but it was said so affectionately that quickly we fitted in. I had a friend also from Gweru, and from that experience we adopted the culture. We started eating madumbe, we started eating makotopea, and I just hope and pray that that brand part of Bonda, where we embrace people, where there is unity, where we live in peace and diversity, continues to be lived out. I thank you very much for building a community that even today, as is symbolized by the colors and the logo of the school, that peace and diversity continues to be a trademark of this brand. Also, as this young little girl coming from Atebeleland, I'm selected to become the leader of the Scripture Union, and at that point in time, I had a bad pimple on my cheek. The first day I addressed the Scripture Union, I was doing this, holding and touching this little pimple, so self-conscious. After the meeting, 2 girls pulled me out and said, "You dare not do that." Today, I can literally make money out of public speaking. Thank you very much for creating platforms where people that are self-conscious, have no confidence, can develop their qualities and their abilities and become who I've become and many others. And also the other aspect of the brand of Bonda was uplifting the Christian flag. We have no apology that this is a Christian school, an Anglican school, where the moral values are upheld. And as I've said before, I give great honor to the founders of this school for having done so. Why is it important for us to keep upholding the Christian values? We're living in a world where there is confusion about morality. There's confusion about what is right and what is wrong. And allowing such platforms as the Scripture Union to flourish gives us the moral conscience that helps to keep our children in the right path. And also, what I know about the Bonda brand was that we had a leadership that entrusted young people. Can you imagine Form 6 being given the platform to preach on a Sunday? I mean, Mr. Chidawanyika was a very courageous person. On a day when the priest was not there, I don't know what had happened. Gives me the podium for me to give my first sermon to the group of girls. Obviously, there was some booing that took place. But that taught me that in life, stand for what you believe in and be firm, because in life, don't always sail with the wind. And this is the brand that I've known Bonda to be. The other aspect of the Bonda brand that I experienced was of a teaching team that was committed. I wasn't too happy about my geography results at Form 5 level. Then when we moved from the city to this place, I then approached my teacher and I said, "Could you be so kind as to allow me to write mock exams once every 2 weeks?" And he graciously agreed. Every 2 weeks, I would sit alone and write a mock exam or the past exam, and the teacher would mark it. What happened there was, I was a student that I was willing to push the bar higher. But as I was doing so, there was a teacher that was willing to lift me up. For me, writing my geography and coming out with an A was a stroll in the park. And I know that even up today, we still have that brand. We still have that teacher who is willing to go an extra mile. And therefore, I pray that as you do so, great teachers, you'll also meet many other students that are willing to go an extra mile so that we push for excellence. Having talked about my past and my history, one needs to also look into the future. They always say if you keep looking at the rear view mirror, unobondera. And therefore, yes, the yesteryears are important, but what is the moral behind the story? Mazezuru akati bata chawawana nekuti mudzimu haupe kaviri. It's not in the Bible. But the essence of it was that you get an opportunity, and opportunity doesn't always come twice. Whilst you are here and you have an opportunity to learn, make the best out of it, because that's the foundation that you have for your future. Our Nigerians will say, no, the God that we know is the one that gives doubles. So there is no limit to what we can become. Therefore, whilst you are here, please maximize the opportunity. It will be amiss if I also don't go back once again to my memory lane and recognize two people that were very instrumental in shaping me. One of them was Mai Machando. Mai Machando was the matron here. NgesiNdebele sithi uyakhwaza. That is, when she spoke one word, we all went into line. You knew Mai Machando was there. Thank you very much, Bonda, for producing firm teachers, for firm non-teaching staff who continue to straighten our path. Normally when they do it, we don't like it. But these are the people that shape our future. And also, these are the people that help us to realize that as Africans, it is good for us to honor authority and to be respectful. And I trust that as students, you continue to uphold that respect for those that are superior to you. My most exciting teacher was Mrs. Lucas, who would literally read 900 pages of Bleak House in class. And during that time, tears would also be flowing. What an inspiration. That was a sign of great dedication. And I know you have teachers that excel here in their dedication. Shall we give a hand of applause to all our teachers? Thank you for the great work that you do. Don't be disheartened. One day you'll see great results that come from the work that you do. Like I said, let's stop looking at the review mirror and look into the future. We recently held a workshop with NAST, the University of Science and Technology, and we asked the Vice Chancellor to speak to us about how is it like taking new students into a university. He was excited. He said you do get a group of very exciting students who are well-mannered, who are well-behaved. But on the other side, he was very much aggrieved. Why was he aggrieved? He was saying we are generally having a school system that will produce educated fools. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to come here and to offend. You may be part of the people that will be at the nursing home that I will be, but take it the way I would like you to see it. What he was saying was, you get people with straight A's, but they are rude, they are unpolished, they steal, you can't leave your cell phone there, but all of them are educated. What's the problem? Something has gone wrong. In as much as we seek and search for academic excellence, it's important that we go back to the moral values. We go back to being people that are rounded. I have noted that a number of girls, when you meet them, they say, hello ma'am, hello sir. What happens when we cross the stream and we leave this place? When we get out there, it's no longer part of our culture. Respect should be a way of life that we should continue. And in the workplace as well, there are now a lot of unemployed people. Employers are looking for that person who just doesn't have the A's, but that person who goes an extra mile, that person who's groomed, that person who's polite. So whilst you are here, look at your role models, your headmaster, your teachers, your priest, and all the great people, and pick out something that is not only academic, but be rounded people. It's not only Professor Ndlovu from NAST who had something to say about the kind of the kind of graduates that we come out with. We also have Professor Mandi Rukuni, who has made an analysis of the African society. And he did note that we have a number of issues that we should deal with. And he deals with issues of poverty. According to him, there are about 4 types of poverty that we have. The first one says it's physical poverty. Physical poverty is not kufamba ndakapfeka marengenya. No. He says physical poverty is when you rely on things that you do not produce. Ask yourself, what do you eat in your house? Are we aiming to be educated people who will only eat Kellogg cornflakes and will despise munyeve, will despise nzungu and the like? No. Being educated means that you still need to rely on what you produce. What do you produce with your hand? It's nice to have a master's, but be able to produce my own roadrunners. I love catching a roadrunner and slaughtering it for my 4 girls. And they take it to school with pride because it's something that I produce. That doesn't take away my education and who I am. And therefore, let's run away from physical poverty, where we rely all the time on things that we do not produce. The other aspect of physical poverty is producing what we do not rely on. You produce things, but they're not useful to you. You're doing it for somebody else. So we need to run away from that kind of poverty. And then secondly, there is what is called intellectual poverty. This is whereby you do not value, nor leverage, or nor use the knowledge that you have. I come from Harare. And I think Harare has got the largest population of educated people. But most of them driving Benzes and wearing suits like I'm doing. We are the ones that eat Nandos and we litter. We are the ones that drink the Tanganda tea that lifts us up and we throw away the pack anyway. Why is it that we are so educated and then don't translate this into improving our lifestyles, in improving who we are? Are we aiming for an education that westernizes but does not modernize? Whilst we are coming here, we had a discussion about how the African society is not transforming. Why are we not agitated about introducing more technology, new technologies, things that improve our lives? So let's run away from the intellectual poverty where we are educated, but none of it gets translated in the way we conduct ourselves. I mean, we are in a school where there is no grade 7. Tesa takafura grade 7. Can I be a little bit provocative? Are we the educated people that flush our toilets? Are we the educated people that make our beds? I'm a mother, that's why I can talk about these things. Let's run away from intellectual poverty, where we have degrees and papers, but none of it gets translated in how we behave and how we conduct it. And I know a Bonda brand is not like that. Let's clap hands for the Bonda girls because they're a different brand. The other aspect of poverty, is spiritual poverty, where we have a reduced sense of identity, belonging, and self-worth. Let me backtrack a little bit and get international. Statistics that come from Rwanda showed that Rwanda had 95% Christians. But when the genocide came, everybody forgot. Everybody forgot the biblical commandment that says, "Thou shalt not kill." And people butchered themselves. What happens when such things happen? It means we have a spiritual poverty. What we believe, what we say on Sunday, and what we promised, our Father on Sunday, whether we go for confession or not, then doesn't get translated into Monday. We trust that the Bonda brand is the brand that does not exhibit that spiritual poverty, where there is, at one point, a certain confession, and then the behavior is different. Zimbabwe is 90% Christian. How come we have the level of corruption that we have? How come even in Christian schools you hear of certain levels of corruption? And therefore, I urge us all that we become a brand that is true to Bonda. by exhibiting the Christian values that are in this school. To conclude, where do we want to go? I would like to encourage all the girls to say, we trust you to be brand ambassadors. We trust you to exhibit the great that you have seen, that you have heard. You know, at times you don't need many resources to do much. I owe my life to this school. And the old gig, the old lorry that the school had, the sisters are now Miss Went and everybody else. They would put us in that gig, allow us to have a day out, go to Leopard Rock, go to Montclair. You did the greatest service by taking me to Montclair. That's my source of inspiration. Being an African child, lived in an African township in a 4-roomed house where there was no table to be laid. I'm given an opportunity to watch and see a table that has got 7 pieces of cutlery one side and 7 pieces of cutlery the other side. The carpet is red. The linen is white. That cutlery has gold trimmings on it. There are 3 glasses of wines and water. I looked at it and I said, I'll be back here. I'll be back here, not in this gig that has got chiwutsi, but I'll be back there for holidays. I've been there. Thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for giving me the opportunities to fly. I have flown. I'm on my 4th passport. And I owe it to that gig with its smoke. Girls, you may eat on a given day food, muchisera ne beans. Don't forget, your mother probably doesn't have proper underwear because she has sacrificed to bring you to school. Your father probably has not eaten lunch for the whole week because they are sacrificing so that you have a future. For most Africans, the loop out of poverty is education. Make good use of it. Fly high. Be an entrepreneur. See opportunities where others do not see it. Have courage to act. Have guts to do things that have not been done before. Be creative and innovative. Build your confidence. You are a great people. You are a great nation. We are confident that you're part of nation building. I do thank you, and may the Lord continue to bless you.